Hello, John Hively here. Today I'm beginning a new series called Oligarchic News of the Week. And today we're going to look at the price of eggs and how you're getting ripped off and how income and wealth is being redistributed from your pocket into the pockets of the wealthy. And I'm going to show a direct correlation. But first, we're going to begin with headlines from the Guardian newspapers. And the headline is, quote, U.S. biggest egg producers' profits triple as prices soar. So the article goes on, and I'm going to read here. The United States' largest egg producer has reported soaring profits as consumer prices hit record high thanks to avian flu and alleged price fixing, which is being investigated by the Department of Justice. Cal-Maine's profits more than tripled compared with the same quarter last year and are nearly 8 times as high as at the start of the bird flu outbreak in February 2022, according to financial results published on Tuesday. The company, which produces 20% of the eggs eaten in the United States, made $1 billion in windfall income in the first 3 quarters of the financial year. The profits extracted after accounting for production, processing, and transport costs. Meanwhile, consumer prices hit $5.90 a dozen in February, almost twice the price of eggs just 12 months earlier, and triple the average cost at the start of the bird flu outbreak, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The price of eggs was a major issue during the 2024 election, with Donald Trump and many voters blaming above inflationary prices on Joe Biden's economic policies. In March, The Guardian reported how major egg corporations such as Cal-Maine may be using the avian flu as a pretext to hike up prices. Days later, the Trump administration opened an investigation into price fixing by the nation's largest egg corporations, including Cal-Maine. So, how does that money get this oligarchy, these egg corporations, this monopoly of egg corporations, how does that money get into the pockets of the wealthy from yours? Well, let me bring you up a great visual. It's called by my world famous whiteboard. You know, I'm high tech, so this is what happens. First, you buy eggs. And instead of paying, say, $1.99 for a dozen or $2.99, you pay $7. And Cal-Maine Foods is the biggest egg producer. Its share prices rise. So, for example, Cal-Maine's share price was $60 back about a year ago. And now it's been over $100 at times. I think right now it's sitting at about $96, $98, somewhere in that range. And so if you're a wealthy shareholder and say you own 100,000 shares of Cal-Maine, well, you just went from $6 million to about $10 million. And that's called a capital gain. If you cash out, if you sell your shares. So you sell your shares of, say, $10 million, minus the $6 million in cost for those shares, and you're sitting on a $4 million profit. And it's paid for by people who are buying eggs at prices, not at market prices, but at monopoly prices. By monopoly, that's a conspiracy in restraint of trade. It's called a clear violation of U.S. law. Anyway, even if you don't sell your shares of Cal-Maine. Cal-Maine pays 8.45%, so 8.45, nearly 8.5% of dividend yield. And what that means is for every share that you own, they're going to pay you $8 per share as of Friday, the 18th of April, 2025. So you're still going to, if you own 100,000 shares, you're going to wind up with $800,000 in your pocket because Cal-Maine has upped its prices through a conspiracy and restraint of trade. So, alleged. Anyway, who owns Cal-Maine besides a bunch of rich folks? Well, BlackRock owns 14.75% of Cal-Maine. So, they're receiving BlackRock, which is owned by some of the richest people in the world. They're reaping a ton of money from the egg monopoly. It's going straight from your pocket into the pockets of rich shareholders of Cal-Maine and also of BlackRock. Now, I'm going to give you a clear example. So, BlackRock pays a dividend of $5.21 per share as of February this year. So Larry Fink owns, the co-founder of BlackRock, he owns 520,124 shares as of February 2025. So if he gets $5.21 per share of a dividend per share, he gets, by the end of the year, he'll get $2,616,563,604 in dividends from BlackRock. Now, it's true, BlackRock has a lot of investments out there. They have huge investments in the Ukraine war. The American taxpayers, they're making money off the American taxpayers. They're making money off the average Ukrainian, the Ukrainian government. They're making tons of money. And, but a lot of it is coming straight out of the extra money you're paying, the extra prices you're paying for eggs due to a conspiracy, an alleged conspiracy in restraint of trade. Now, we have an oligarchy in the United States, and we've been made ignorant. Tucker Carlson has pointed this out at least once, that we are among the most ignorant people in the world when it comes to our own politics. But I want to show you something from one foreigner who pretty much tells you exactly what it's like. Anyway, here it is.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a terror. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs will ship your job to China. Not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare costs, cheap dopamine, debt, and flagged wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs fit your lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
So we need a revolution, but we're not going to get it. So I wouldn't worry about it. However, there is something to be said. I do have a battle plan, and I think we can reverse this tide of oligarchy and the corruption that we have at all levels of government, it appears, in the judiciary and elsewhere. So if you could like, share, and subscribe, and spread the word, because I've got a battle plan, and I think we can win. Anyway, you have a good one. Thank you.